Welcome in, Cowboys Nation, to another episode of the Sky into Eye Show. We are back, baby. We took a little break.
Right.
Got our minds right. Get ready for the season. And it's finally here. You know, we had our preseason 2-eye, the warm up to get everybody ready for what we're going to be bringing this football season. And I'm excited. I'm excited to have you a part of this thing. I'm excited to be able to do this Sky into Eye Show with you. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I was just telling you offline. We talked yesterday, and I was like, I don't feel like it's week one, bro. Like I feel like it, but I don't feel like it. And today, something hit me, and I was like, okay, it's football time. It's time to lock in. And it's a pleasure to be doing this with you as well. It's a long time coming. We've been talking about it for a while,
so basically, what you're saying is, it didn't feel like football till you talk to Sky. Is basically what you're saying, right? I mean, that's
oh my God! Don't make a scene.
It's all good. It's all good. We got a lot to get to in our first episode, not of the show, but of the 2025 season schedule. The Cowboys open up against the Eagles Thursday night. Big game, big challenges on both sides of the ball, and we heard from a lot of different coaches and players, leading up to this thing. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get to the elephant in the room, but we're going to get to the legitimate elephant that's going to help this Cowboys that is in the room and second down, if you know what I'm saying. Okay?
You need help.
It's time to turn the page, man. Time to turn the page. But before we get there, we heard from, like I said, some of the coaches. We heard from some of the players. And a lot of the times you want to get a nice takeaway. And there's going to be times during the season you're in that locker room. You're at the podium. You're actually talking to these players. And first up, in first down, we heard from Eberflus post-trade and heading into this Eagles game. And honestly, I'm more so I'm more so I want to hear about your thoughts on his thoughts heading into this matchup, which it's always a difficult matchup facing an Eagles offense that runs the ball as well as they do.
I guess a couple of the things that stood out to me was, like, obviously he talked about the addition of Kenny Clark. He talked about him being stout in the run game. He also talked about him giving you some push inside. Another thing that stood out was the fact that he wasn't willing to comment on Diggs. However, our girl Christy Scales this morning let us know that she believes very wholeheartedly, and if you don't know, scoop is scoop. Like, she believes that Trayvon Diggs will play this game, and she also believes that they might be rotating Bland to the outside, inside, just kind of getting a feel. He probably will be on a snap count, but she very strongly believes that is something that we'll see, which is
we can kind of let people behind the curtains a little bit here. That kind of tracks from what we have been told. Was it late last night? We got the message from our good people that are close to the organization that, hey, they're going to be looking to ramp up to get something for Trayvon Diggs. I think the quote was, we want to hit the right number and give him something for Thursday night. So, listening to Diggs saying 75-80% thinking he's going to play, Scoop saying, hey, he's going to play. And then, our folks saying they're trying to get him to a number. I expect Trayvon to be out there, and that is huge, even if it is on a snap count, because that's the one position that we thought we might be without a Diggs for at least 3-4 weeks.
No, it's huge. Huge for this Dallas defense. And again, I fully expect for them to test him and figure things out with him. But his presence
Come on, Cletus. Test
right.
him.
But if he seems confident, man, and I don't know if you've heard him or seen him, but he feels confident in what he did. He's talked about conditioning and all that stuff, but I've seen him just doing the drill work and just working on the bands and stuff, and he looks fluid. He's breaking. So we'll see. Another thing that stood out was he mentioned, that he knows Sirianni pretty well. Like there's some familiarity between those guys, obviously working in Indy, spending some time there. But he did say that you can't go off of like old stuff like that because, every year it's different. I don't know if that was a little bit of gamesmanship or if it was a little bit of like him just trying to keep it copacetic, but it's like, now, that Philly ain't about to do a whole bunch of changing.
Yeah,
but
I
You
don't
know what
even think
I'm
you
saying?
can really dig into the Colts bag with Sirianni because he wasn't calling the plays and it's a
Mhm.
different offense. Philly has won a Super Bowl, been to a Super Bowl before under Sirianni's foundation. They're not changing
They
anything.
ain't about to break. If it's not broken, I ain't about to try to fix it.
Yeah,
He also mentioned lastly, he mentioned Reddy Stewart. And I think that he called him a plug and play player. He mentioned that he knows the system, and
hmm
that's a reason why they went to get him because of him knowing the system. So again, not knowing exactly what's gonna happen at that nickel spot, if they're gonna be rotating it, or if Redding's gonna get some burn. We'll see what happens, but that's something that I'm definitely gonna be keeping an eye on. And those are the things that stood out to me with Eberflus talking. He real chill.
yeah. He's straight to the point, old school guy. He's not really gonna play around with you. Um,
Yeah.
on the
Oh,
other, go ahead.
sorry. Another thing too is that he talked about keeping the cup in this game in regard to Saquon Barkley. Mentioned how explosive he can be, and what the second he specifically mentioned that the Dallas secondary is going to have to also contain in the run, because
Yes.
this is a team that can get explosive runs on the outside. We know that Saquon Barkley, 7 plays over 60 yards last year. This is a guy that can give it to you. So I those things stood out to me. Rush contain, talking about Reading, and that possibly being a possibility, but also to the familiarity, I guess, as well.
On the other side of the ball, Clayton, I said this to you behind the scenes. I really enjoyed listening to the coordinators talk when Dan Quinn was here and
Uh-huh.
Brian Schottenheimer was the guy. Flus is kind of more rugged in the sense. Obviously, we'll listen to what he has to say throughout the season, but Clayton Adams is a guy I'm really going to be plugged into this year and not hanging on everything he says, but just dialed into what he's talking about because he's bringing an entirely new system to run game system
Hmm.
to this team, and that's one aspect of this offense that we know 100% certainty needs to, at least by mid to late season, needs to be going if the Cowboys want to do anything in the postseason or get to the postseason.
Hmm.
What were your takeaways with Clayton Adams from his first presser heading into to week one?
Yeah. I think one thing that stood out to me was this is a coach that really wants to do what his players do well. And he mentioned that it is relatively simple to see what your players do well. It's not rocket science. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he can watch them play for a little bit and he's like, okay, they can do this, they can do this. And then he talked about being multiple. And what I took from it is, and this is what we've been wanting, is that the way that they run the ball is based on the matchup. It's based on the matchup. It's not based on this is just how we run the effing ball. No, we're going to adapt and be multiple and take advantage of weaknesses on teams and stuff like that. So that stood out to me. Him also, he talked very highly of Javonte Williams. We have not seen Javonte
Bubble
Williams.
wrap.
We don't know what's going on, nothing. But Clayton Adams was like, I am, you could see the change in his body language talking about him, is that he was like, I'm very excited to see him play. And the physical aspect of his game, it seems like he feels like this team needs and probably is going to need in this game. I want to
Yeah, he
say,
he complements what they want to do, what Clayton Adams wants to do. And look, no one, I'm not sitting here saying Javonte Williams is going to be your Saquon Barkley or Jonathan Taylor or maybe James Conner. No, we'll see. But I'm not saying that. But his play style
mhm,
and the trust that they have with him, I had put the number around. I think Javonte Williams will probably see 70% of the snaps in this game.
mhm,
I think Miles will probably see the other 20, 25%. And then I think you'll see Jaden Blue. And I know that may not excite people, but I
mhm,
think week one on the road, I do think they'll lean heavily into those veterans. I hope to be wrong because I want to see Jaden Blue out there. But just
mm,
something just tells me that's what they're going to lean on because they probably trust those guys in a situation where you're going up against a Vic Fangio defense that
yeah.
makes things a little bit, sticky for you up front.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think pass protection and those things are going to be very important as well with some of the things that they like to do, because don't get it twisted. Philly don't like to blitz like that. Vic ain't going he don't blitz like that 19% last year, but they are very efficient when they do. They're very efficient with some of the twists and stunts that they bring and stuff. So you do want some of those guys, those your running backs, to be able to pick up on that stuff, communicate and all that stuff. And one thing I will say about training camp that I noticed is that the pass protection from the running back position seemed like it was pretty sound. Seemed like guys kind of knew where they were supposed to be, and it was collectively seemed like that was something that they did decently throughout training
Good.
camp into preseason. Another thing that stood out to me was Clayton Adams talking about him and Tyler Booker's relationship. He is excited about this player, Doc. He
Can
is
you not be?
he is extremely confident in this player, and he was telling a story about at the combine. They were about to meet with Booker, and he didn't know who he was. He was sitting talking to him for like 10 minutes before the meeting, and just to get that very authentic experience with him, and then be like, "Oh, this is our guy."
That's our guy.
He
Yep.
feels with, and you can see the wheels turning, because when you get a guy like a Clayton Adams, or not a Clayton Adams, like a
Booker.
Booker, or just that interior, you can see the excitement that he feels to be able to manipulate and do some of the things that we saw him do with the Cardinals with this run game. I know you mentioned at the beginning of the show, you was talking about Philly and their run game and how, versatile it is and stuff. It's like, hey, I think we might have one of those type of guys too. Jeff Stoutland does a great job um as their run game coordinator with Philly. I really hope we walk away from this game being like, well, they did their stuff, but there were some similarities in the creativity and all that stuff as well in the Dallas run game. And lastly, was him talking about Nate Thomas. Um, Nate Thomas is kind of like, he's feeling like, from a coaching perspective and hearing coaches talk about him, kind of like a diamond in the rough type thing. We still got to see it on the field, but he said, you don't ever want to see anyone get hurt, but then some guys get the opportunity when guys get hurt, and you be like, yeah, I didn't want to waste that guy. Like, I'm glad I got to see that guy. And so we don't know, from what Christy said today, there may be a possibility of Guyton and Nate Thomas kind of rotating in and out. Sounds like there might be some snap counts with Guyton. I don't know. It's not confirmed yet. It is expected, from what she was saying today, is that he will play. How much he will play, no idea. But we talked about it earlier on the other show I was on. I was like, hey man, Nate Thomas is the one that has been with the first team offense. How are you feeling about that, Sky? Do you want to go ahead and insert Tyler Guyton into this and have him be, that's it, like build the camaraderie and all that stuff? Or are you like, let's get this game out the way and run out there with Nate Thomas because he's familiar with the rest of the offensive line to this point?
I am not a fan of rotating tackles
I
at
hate it
all.
too.
I
I hate it.
pray they do not do that. Pick something. Pick a side. Pick a side. I mean, if it's Guyton, then you roll him out there. You just gotta throw him in the fire and let's get going. At least he ain't going up against no damn T.J. Watt or Myles Garrett. At the beginning of the season, the first game. If it's Nate Thomas, and it's Nate Thomas, but rotating, I think, is a massive mistake. We often talk about these guys having to play on a string. I often say five is not better than one. Five individuals is not better than one solid fist. And when you keep rotating out left tackle, blind side, by the way,
it's a crazy position to be trying to rotate.
That's a bit wild to me. So I hope pick. It doesn't really matter. Pick one. They both have their deficiencies. They both, there may be some issues, but you need to let them get going and get some momentum and work with this offensive line, both in the pass and run game. Because you brought it up, our run game, I think, is going to have some versatility to it. That's what Clayton Adams can do. And I mean, if you don't mind me kind of deterring a little bit here,
you okay?
Based off of the matchup, I think this matchup, we're going to want to attack them on the edges.
Right.
Not saying you don't attack the A and B gap. Do it with creativity. I said this to Cody earlier. It's going to be tough, but you got to try to turn the Jalen Carters. You got to turn the Jordan Davises and the Ajomos. You got to get these guys turned and then create that lane, maybe with the guy pulling. But I do think you want to kind of attack these edges here and also use pre-snap, post-snap action to hold these backers for a tick. So, that's, I think, the best way to attack this front. If you try to just run right at Jordan Davis, Ojomo, and Carter, even with our improved interior, it's not going to be a recipe for success because we've seen them, either for Tyler Smith and Zach Martin, struggle with that.
Yeah, man, you hit it on the head. You got to get them big humans huffing and puffing.
Yep.
Make them chase you. Make him chase you. Make him have to turn and run. And I totally agree with you. I do believe that attacking their edges will be the best thing to do. And then also too, when you look within the losses that they took at that position in particular this offseason, they lost Josh Sweat to Arizona, Brandon Graham retired. Um, and then also too, on the we haven't got to the secondary yet, but they did take some losses on that
Milton,
defensive line.
Milton as well.
And oh yeah, and then of course Milton Williams is a guy that they lost as well. But you know, me and you, Scott, we were talking. It was like, listen, but they still got a couple hams up in there.
I think the bigger. I mean, Milton's a fantastic player, but the kid Ajomo is a really good player too. I think that loss is a lot less than losing Sweat. I think Sweat is a bona fide rusher. Not saying he's all pro rusher or anything like that, but he's kind of a consistent, steady rusher. Jackson Hunt is low, young. Had a great postseason though. Nolan Smith, he's going to be his first time kind of really, all right, you the guy now, right? So there's a little more, if I had to guess, uncertainty. But
yeah, there is.
I don't think there should be much uncertainty on the interior. I don't think I think Milton's fantastic, but that kid is good too. They got a good interior. That's where they're going to try to beat you at right there.
Yeah, and then they went and got Aziz.
Aziz Ojulari, Josh Uche. So they got guys.
They have some waves. They have some waves of guys that can come out there and play the run and stuff. But I totally agree with you that running up the interior of this defensive line typically doesn't work well for anyone. So why would you do it? why would you do it? So no, I get your sentiment there.
So when it's time to throw that thing, right? When it's time to throw that rock, man, that's where I believe the Cowboys have a massive advantage.
Yeah,
but I say that and put a pin in it, by the way. Kind of gave away my third down there. But put a pin in it, by the way, because we're still here on first. My bad.
Cheating.
Cowboys added George Pickens. And this is why you add George Pickens. You're going up against a defensive coordinator who, look, as good as solid as they were and decent and good in the run game defensively, pass game is where it's tough. They were, I think, top 2 in pass yards given up, top 2 in like yards in general, or maybe number 1, top 2 in points. And a lot of that is because they play a fantastic style defense, a Fangio 6 on the back end. It's difficult. It's confusing. It shows one thing pre-snap. It'll be like an invert post-snap. It can get you in a bind, right? And getting to George Pickens makes them have to respect both sides of the field if we do have Lamb on the boundary.
Can't split that thing.
You can't say, you know what, we're going double here, double. You're likely going to have to pick who you double. And, talking to Cody earlier, they decided to focus their energy, the Eagles that is, on Travis Kelce. And if you go watch the film, a lot of 2 or 3 guys are always floating around Travis. And they said, beat us with your boundary receivers who aren't like that. And Dallas has boundary receivers that are like that. So with George Pickens in the mix, kind of your takeaways from him speaking with the media and how he feels about going into this Eagles game.
Oh yeah, I mean, he talked about how much anticipation there is, it's interesting to me because one thing that stands out to me, guys, because for years we have heard players from other teams, whether before playing the Cowboys or after playing the Cowboys, talk about the offensive scheme and be like, we know what they gonna do.
Yeah.
They don't do no motions. They don't do nothing. Your hair is dusty.
In motion and shifts last year. So I don't think that's going to change much.
Your hair is uneven. Like that's kind of how people talk about you. But when you listen to Pickens talk about this offense, if you want to know that this offense has to be different, he talks about it like it's the that poor baby was in purgatory.
Arthur Smith. It was a dinosaur, man. We had this conversation before already, man. We studying Steelers like, please throw the ball. Please. This trash ass offense, please throw the ball. And George Pickens just over here like, oh God.
No, this man is he's crossing routes in motion. Like, it's funny to hear him talk about the offense because he's saying he's excited about things that we have been asking for years. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And he's talking about the different concepts. He seems very excited about the scheme. And he said, Shai is a completely different offense than and to me, those little things, those are little clues to me because when you looked at I remember when the Cowboys played the Steelers last year, it was like, Well, that's one of the most boring offensive film studies on both sides of the ball that you will ever do. And to know that a player that was involved in that has come here and sees the difference in the scheme now and is like, you know what, I'm excited about that. That's something that stood out to me. Also, too, he talked about, and we're talking about their secondary, finding the windows. He
Yep.
said he said they don't do too much. They just know their stuff,
Hmm.
which is true. Like they have like, of course, I know you talked about it earlier. They will disguise some things, change the picture post snap and stuff, but it's like two or three defensive looks, and they just mix them and
At the
kind of
at the
go
end of
ahead.
the day, it's a zone.
It's his own.
So
It's
and it,
vision.
there's
So
always going to be a window in the zone. You have to find it, and you have to find it in time, right? And
mhm.
we talked about that with Cody, where no defense is impenetrable. There is a way in. You just have to get there. And yeah, they're gonna probably kill me in the chat with that one. But
No, not because it wasn't a pause thing. It's a sound that I. You're
they
going to
gonna kill
jail,
me. They're gonna kill
bro.
me in the chat with that
You're
one.
going to jail, bro.
But you just gotta get there, and that's where obviously the offense line holding up. Maybe
Mhm.
if you can make them respect the run game a little bit, you bring down a safety or what have you, right? So that's another aspect of it.
Because that's really what he does with Fangio. I mean, most defensive coordinators, the safety is the big identifier, but the way in which he uses his safeties is like how he sometimes they'll look like they're not gonna come to the middle of the field, but they are, or they'll roll covers, or sometimes he has guys that kind of look like they're robbing and stuff like that. If you can get that safety to have to commit to happen to stop the run, you're helping yourself with some of the stuff that they are able to do with disguising on the back end.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah. Have you fallen and gotten injured at work? You should probably call a lawyer.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan and Morgan.
Morgan and 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 Morgan.
Did you know that your injury could be worth millions of dollars? Morgan & Morgan is the largest injury law firm in America, and they've recovered over $25 billion for their clients.
$25 billion? That's a hell of a lot of money.
If the insurance companies tried to lowball you, Morgan & Morgan is able to take the pain and suffering and turn it into cold, hard cash. But wait. How much is Morgan & Morgan gonna cost you? You never owe them legal fees unless they're successful.
That's right. You don't owe unless you win.
And if you don't know how to hire a lawyer and it sounds too hard, it's actually super easy. You can just go to their website, and then in a couple clicks, you can find out if you have a case. You can literally do it from your smartphone. And remember, there's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Wait, there's more than one because let me see the script. Oh, last name. Oh, okay, roll.
You can start your claim today by going to forthepeople.com/Skywalker. The link in the description. All right, let's get to second down here, and now we can talk about this elephant in the room, and that is the big trade, and that is the guy who was a dynamic pass rusher for the Green Bay Packers. What? Kenny Clark was Kenny Clark was a dynamic pass rusher for the Green Bay Packers, ladies and gentlemen. But all jokes aside, Kenny Clark is here. He is here to improve this defensive tackle room. The previous season, not last year, although he had some games where he looked good even with the toe injury, right? But previous year, I want to say he had like 9 sacks or something like that. And throughout his career, he's been a guy that can get after the quarterback really well. But he also can help you in the run game. And I think he is a massive scheme fit from a get up field, quick off the snap. I often talk about this, and you know this already too. The know-how. I'm big on, yes, you may have been a dominant run guy in college, but there is an aspect of knowing how to do that in the league. And as a 10-year veteran, he knows how to play pretty much anything. He knows how to play a double. He knows how to play single. He knows how to play attacking gap scheme. This is a quality guy that I think, a duo between him and Osa Odigizua is going to be the best duo we've seen in a long time. But
Yeah.
hold on, I didn't get a chance to hear how you feel. The fans didn't get a chance to hear how you feel about said trade with Kenny Clark. The past is in the past. We're not going to talk about Micah Parsons and what that aspect, but just about Kenny Clark being here, what it means for his defensive tackle room, and if you had a chance, what do you think it could mean for this game in general?
Well, more than anything, I've said it once, I'll say it again. Linebacker and defensive tackle on this defense. Those are two positions that I feel like obviously take time. Um, they take experience, but not having a steady veteran at that position, I feels like puts you at a disadvantage every year. And with the linebacker position, you've been bringing in a veteran every year and trying to stabilize it. So I'm hoping that they find someone within, if it's Sanborn, whoever,
Mm.
that stabilizes that room and you can keep adding to it. I know that Kenny Clark is a little older, I guess, but having a steady veteran there to kind of mentor these guys, to teach these guys, because like you said, you're talking about the know-how. It takes time to get the know-how at that position. This is a position that to me does require intellect, patience, and a lot of bodily control, like and self-control. So for me, just having a veteran in there, it's been, Hankins was the guy before. He's not here.
Linval
But
Joseph,
Linval
Hankins.
Joseph, all those guys.
Yeah.
But we saw a difference in the defensive line when Hankins was present. Like I felt like we did. Obviously he dealt with some injuries, but it's long overdue that they have a veteran at this position now. He is not the traditional nose. He has some three tech in him. He's with more three
He is a
tech.
three tech.
He's three techy.
He's a
He's
three
three
tech, but
techy, but he can do one
yes,
things when he's being asked to.
he's a one in
Um,
this scheme for
he's
what
the
they
one in
want to
this.
do because our three is going to be Osa.
Yeah, and I think, and speaking of Osa, I love it for Osa because baby, for the love of muffins, like Osa has not had a steady one next to him almost his whole career. I mean, straight up. I mean, he's had guys kind of come in and out and stuff like that. But the times, even with when Hankins was here, the times that he has been able to be next to another guy that can command a double team, we saw Osa have an uptick in double teams last year. So I think that's something that's
Yeah,
going
got to
to
pick a side now. Who you going to double? Clark or Osa?
absolutely. That's a huge portion of it is that, and that's why they paid Osa because you saw the difference in his pass rush ability last year. So for me, I think it's going to make offenses have to make business decisions, and more importantly, because these gentlemen do warrant double teams, I think that's going to open up things for the rest of your edge rushers also, and then your linebackers as well to navigate. So I think for what it is right now and for what you need, it cool. Like I think he kind of stabilizes a little bit of that room and that
100%.
line, and you feel a lot better about it. Kind of bummed about the Perion Winfrey thing, trying to keep an eye on it. Sounds like it was just back tightness. I don't know how much it's going to affect him. We got to keep an eye on it because I wanted to see him get after it as well. But just the Kenny Clark thing,
Yeah.
I think that hopefully your defensive interior is better because this guy is here, and that's all we can ask for at this point. So it is what it is.
Quickly on Perion Winfrey. Shouts out to the Bomb Squad Insiders. If you're a part of the membership, you already know this. If not, you'll hear it here live on the Sky to Watch show. I was under the assumption that Perion Winfrey played his way onto this roster to play on game day, but then the back injury happened. And again, we have been told, I believe it was last night or this morning, I can't quite remember, but we have been told that Perion Winfrey still dealing with the spasms, but also it looked like he wasn't going to be active anyway, which to me is a bit of a shocker because I thought he played his way to be a top 4 defensive tackle, which the top 4 usually play on game day. So in essence, that means likely you'll have, Mozzie Smith, Osa, Clark, and Solomon Thomas as your 4 tackles. If they go 5, then Toia, but I don't know, 5 feels a bit heavy to me for the 46. So I'm a bit shocked, a little shocked that they said that he was going to be sitting down anyway come game day. So
A bit shocked, and that's something that I also heard too, but I wanted to see if that was gonna maybe change based off of maybe how they felt later in the year, later in the week, because I was under the impression that that was still something that is like in the air. But if that's what you got, that's what you got. But I will say in regard to him, if he's not playing, I think that they're gonna give Mozzie Smith an opportunity to.
Oh yeah, he's no doubt. If Winfrey's not playing, it's Mozzie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this is them giving Mozzie the opportunity to come out to show some consistency or whatever. And if not,
well, good thing for if anything, Mozzie had good tape last year against the Eagles, so you want to see him kind of use that momentum against them. Now it's a different scheme. They're gonna be asking him to do different things. But yeah, I was a little bummed to hear about Perion Winfrey, and then
Same.
if it is true that he wasn't going to be active anyway, it's like, okay, so what are we doing then? Is this going to be a weekly thing, or is it just like, hey, we'll wait to see if he truly can be, because he's just a fit to me. Winfrey is such a fit in this scheme, and then he has versatility to go play out wide if need to from like a 5-tech standpoint. But that was a little odd to me. But we'll see as we move forward.
Do they gotta go heavy somewhere else or something?
What do you mean? Like if they only go 4?
Yeah. Is it
So for me, I was doing the number game in my head. I'm like, well, what would be the need to carry 5 defensive tackles on game day if we moonlight defensive edge rushers inside at 3-tech on pass downs? So if I got Kenny Clark and Osa and Solomon Thomas, let's be real. Those 3 guys are going to play majority of the snaps. And then that 4th guy, whether it's Mozzie or Perion, doesn't matter. That's enough. You got enough early down guy. Osa's going to play early downs. Clark's going to play early downs. Perion can. Mozzie, that's where really he needs to be, early down. Or, so that's enough early down guys. And then when it's time to rush the passer, Osa's a pass rush guy. Clark can do it, so you don't really need to take them out. But if you want to take them out for pass rushers, you're not doing it for Mozzie or Jay Toia, right? You're doing it for moving Nealon inside, maybe Sam Williams inside. Maybe you're standing up Fowler or Izaraku in the A or B gap. So it didn't really make much sense to me from a numbers game to have 5, because what is that 5th guy going to do? He's not playing special teams, right? Like he's not running down on kickoff or punt or on goal line, field goal. I'm sorry. So 5 felt heavy game day to me.
Yeah.
4 seems about right. That's why I was always thinking, maybe 4. But
No, 4 makes sense.
Maybe they'll go heavy. Here she go. If y'all new here, when 2i yawns, I mean she's bored, she's tired of me.
No.
She's ready to go. I'm just playing.
It's my anxiety. Y'all stop.
It's my anxiety. Nah, she got a trigger. Like, what was it again? What you said about the yawn? It's like a defense mechanism to your body or something?
No, it's just like sometimes when I go to speak, I yawn. Like my vocal cords get tight and I yawn. It's an anxious thing.
She's just making excuses up, y'all.
No, please, Jesus.
Third down, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the third down. It's 3rd and long now after that yawn. Shit,
I thought you transitioning on me.
I'm transitioning on you, man, because the yawn. I thought we was gonna be in 3rd and 1. We can go ahead and just quarterback keeper this thing, but nope. It's 3rd and 15 after that. That's a flag on the play.
Speaking of, that's what you need to be keeping Philly in, because baby, if it's 3rd and 5,
you forget about it.
You might as well. I'm telling you, it needs to be at this point with how efficient they are. You might as well just give them the first down.
Yo, you know what's crazy about that? If they're in 3rd, I think it was I think it was Cosell who said this. Maybe somebody. If they're in 3rd and like 6 or 7 or 8, they treat that as 2nd down.
I know.
So they go, oh, bet. All right, cool. We'll get 4 yards. Now it's 4th and 4, or it's 4th and 2, and that's a tushy pushy, as my guy would say.
They're never stressed out. Like
the
way that they're able to move down the field, it's so frustrating. And go ahead.
They do nothing. It's nothing creative either. It's just
That's what makes it even more
so
insane. Is that it really throws you off. And because I was watching it the other day, is the fact that there's so many options within one play that I want to say
literally run a triple option.
And they do it all game.
Yeah.
And they do that mess all game. And either he's keeping it, he's handing it off to the running back, there's a pick play to the outside, or they throw
tight end coming behind.
Tight end screens. It is literally the same thing over and over and over and over again. And it's, can you beat it?
And most teams are not able to do it. But I said this before about the offensive side of the ball, and we'll get here in a second. Defensive side of the ball, you also have the element of surprise.
Tracking.
They have not played against, and granted, I know you lost one of the best defensive players in football, but at the end of the day, it's week 1. I've seen week 1 games for best teams in the world struggle because It's just that element of surprise. It's week 1. There's no tendencies to study. We can go back, and we as in Cowboys, we can go look at what a Sirianni offense, what a Vic Fangio defense looks like.
Yeah, we know.
You have no idea what a Flus Cowboys defense looks like. You have no idea what a Brian Schottenheimer run offense looks like for Dallas. And they were very keen on keeping things close to the vest for this particular reason. This game is a game and a half. It means a whole lot. And I was always with them 2-eye on that.
Yeah. And a couple things before we transition. I wanted to agree with you. It's week 1. It's week 1, y'all. Expect some wonkiness. Expect some ugly. Expect to see some hands on your knees. Like expect to see some of these dudes huffing and puffing. Expect to see a little ugly sometimes.
Some sloppy football early on.
It's gonna expect it. That's just how it is. So I expect that, and then the officials are trying to get their heads at their asses too. So let's just.
So you're telling Cowboys Nation to not overreact? Good luck. Good luck.
My gatos.
Hey, Cowboys Nation, y'all can overreact. It's our job to kind of steady Eddie this thing. So y'all can go ahead and overreact, but
he's so fake. He's so fake because me and you off camera.
Hey, look, as soon as that game, hey, what the man, this mother is trying. Hey, welcome to the Sky and 2-Eye show, y'all. Everybody relax. Everything's okay. We're good. Nah, I don't do the everything's okay thing, but this is why I always say this real quick and we're gonna move on. The Monday after the game or the day after the game, and people will tell you this about my show, you know this, you watch. Monday is Monday emotions. We can let our emotions go, y'all. Let's go ahead. Let's get it out. How we feel, whatever. Then from there on, we're gonna see how it happened, study the tape, do some research, and we're gonna get back into the football aspect. But all jokes aside, man, let them emotions run. As long as you're able to be level-headed after the fact. That's all.
Oh yeah.
Quick, go ahead.
I want to talk about I just wanted to say the injuries that
we forgot to touch that at the top of the show.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that. AJ Brown was still dealing with some hamstring tightness. It doesn't sound serious. However, I did talk to a beat reporter from Philly, and it is something that he is consistently getting treatment on. So that's something keep an eye out on with these guys actually getting on the field and playing real football minutes. Devontae Smith dealing with a little bit of a groin, tweaked it a little bit. Sounds like he's still practicing. He's good to go. Again, steadily getting treatment on that. These are all things that are important. You talking about a groin and a hamstring tightness for the top wide receivers. That's something to make note of. Also, too, Landon Dickerson. They're gonna play. Oh, okay. How are they going to be?
Dickerson did not practice yesterday, so
Landon Dickerson did not practice yesterday. It looks like what is this gentleman's name? Brett Toth is going to be expected to, if he is not ready to go, to start in his place. And so between Tyler Steen, who did get some burn last year, I think he's a little slow-footed, but that's just me. And Brett Toth, I would think that those are the two places that if the Cowboys were going to attack, that they should attack. Also, too, Nakobe Dean still not ready, and he is somebody that they really want in that linebacker room. Looks like Jeremiah Trotter is going to will get the opportunity to start. Jahad Campbell. And I heard you guys talking about him earlier. Are they going to want him in man in coverage? Are they going to want him?
They don't play a lot of man. So.
They don't. So they're going to be doing zone. It is a lot to ask of him, though. So I really want to see if Dallas tries to attack the linebacker position because of that. So I just want to talk about some of the injuries. Sorry.
Let's get the fourth down. I want to talk about some sneaky players to watch here. You can call it X Factor. You can call it whatever the hell you want. But just some sneaky players. And look, Cowboys Nation, some of the names we may say may not be sneaky to you guys. But maybe in general to the fan that's just watching and doesn't know the Cowboys as much as we do, they might find that player a sneaky player. I had a couple in mind. I think they're obvious ones, but I'll start off.
Go ahead.
And I'm gonna go offense because defense. Kevontae Turpin.
Oh, okay.
Kevontae Turpin. We've long asked for Kevontae Turpin to be a more impactful part of this offense deliberately, not just every here or there, right? Mm-hmm. And as much focus as is going to be paid, attention is going to be paid to, Pickens, Lamb, and yes, even Ferguson. I do think there may be some times where they'll look at Dak and they'll go, okay, on 3rd and 6, he has a tendency, Ferg will go run down the field, turn around, box out. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of that, but you may see Coach Fangio lean towards, okay, let's go ahead bracket Ferg here.
Mm-hmm.
But that Kevontae Turpin is not going to be doing a whole lot of running down the field, turning around. He's going. I think you're going to be seeing him in mesh concepts, maybe some whip stuff, maybe some drags, over routes. You want to talk about getting to that to the whole of the defense? I think pass game concepts we're going to see are going to involve him when they're in 11 personnel. They're going to involve him attacking deep, middle, deep, over while they're paying attention to the lambs and picking. So he could be a real sneaky guy in that aspect. And he also can be a real sneaky guy out of the backfield. So I got Kevontae Turpin as my sneaky player to watch.
No, that's awesome. I mean, especially too when you think about, like we talked about at the beginning of the show, is that I think they're going to try to force Dallas to have to attack the ball to the outside, and for me, throw the ball to the outside. And honestly, if I'm Dallas, that's what I'm doing. This is the weak part of their defense. Let's take advantage of the weak part of their defense and make them have to make business decisions, and then maybe get some of those boxes lighter. Maybe I want there to be some give and take, because like you said, Sky, they don't know this offense, but you're gonna have to. So that means you're gonna have to earn respect. Like, and not saying that Pickens and CD and those guys don't already warrant respect.
Right.
What I'm saying is their system is also very respectful, their defensive system.
Right.
So what are you going to do to dictate how they change, how they play ball? I think Kevontae Turpin is a guy that will make, if he is killing them in the middle of the field, they're going to have to make some business decisions. So I agree with you. I think that's a good guy to say. My guy is going to be, I can't decide between a safety or a linebacker, but I think it's going to be Maris Leofau for me. With some of the things that I want to talk about that. I think his attitude in the run, playing the run, is going to be huge. If they do use him on some blitz situations, I talked to Sky before about this, is that I wonder, because we were talking about earlier, is how many options, especially within the RPO and things like that, if Dallas is going to opt to have a spy, whether that's a safety or a linebacker, I think Maris Leofau would be primed to be able to do that, and he's going to punish you when he gets there too, and that's kind of what I want. Yeah. So,
I do wonder how much because they bubble wrap Kenneth Murray, which is extremely mind-boggling to me.
We don't know nothing about K9. I ain't seen nothing.
So if I had to guess, I think him and Sanborn are going to be your primary backers. With Kenneth Murray, when they want to run traditional 4-3, he'll be a Sam. But good news for Maris Leofau is that the Eagles will do a good bit of 12. They'll especially if they feel like they got an advantage or they feel like they can run. Is it Calamance? I cannot say his last name, but that second tight end too, and Dallas Goedert. They'll, if he's still even there, the second tight end, but they'll bring out two tight ends with Goddard, and they'll do a tight condensed formation. They'll use some pre-snap stuff to get you, the linebackers thinking. And in that case, I would go heavy. I would go traditional 4-3, bringing three linebackers out. But if they do elect to go 11 personnel, then you probably won't see a lot of Maris. So I do wonder. That's one thing I'm gonna keep my eye on defensively at linebackers. How much is Kenneth Murray playing? Because he got bubble wrapped.
Yeah, and like you're saying, if we see more Kenneth Murray or we see more Maris Leofau, and again, I really want to see if this is going to be matchup based, in like what the matchup calls for. Like, is Maris more primed for this team or to do certain things within the scheme for this particular team? But yeah, that's my guy. I'm hoping that he gets some burn. That makes me sad.
That passer, I would blitz him a lot.
Well, yeah, I agree, but also too, I feel like the linebackers in general, they got their work cut out for them. Like,
sure,
it's difficult. Like, Philly is not like the Rams with their motions and all that stuff. It's not like that. It's
very basic. But even their basic pre-snap, at-snap motion, it trips them up. If you watch that Packers game, a lot of the backers had to just pause for that extra tick, and it created a lane. And it was just a simple ghost motion or a simple jet sweep motion. But that's why just that simplicity is important in an offense, and being too stagnant can be an issue. And that's something that, Sirianni got in trouble with a few years ago under Brian Johnson, and it went towards Kellen Moore. They still didn't do a lot, but they did a little bit more, no pun intended. So
yeah,
there you have it, Cowboys Nation. Our first episode touching base with 2i on the Sky and 2i show leading into the week. This, we talked about this before. We're excited to really get real film and real football stuff to talk about moving forward. We are just getting started. Cowboys, Eagles, Thursday night football. We'll be back early next week again to give you our analysis of it. We are still, like I said, we're still trying to figure out how we're going to do this season. We may do an early show recapping the game, and we may do a late week show to preview the next game. So y'all keep it locked. And if y'all want to see 2 episodes a week of the Sky and 2i show, let us know in the comments. Let us know. Y'all gotta let us know, man. Tell me what you want. Tell me. With that said, man, for 2i, I'm Sky. This is Sky and 2i show. We out here. Peace.